Have you ever woken up and wondered where the years have gone? One day, you're full of energy, chasing dreams, building a life, raising a family. The next, you're past 60, and suddenly, you start hearing people talk about slowing down. But let me ask you something, who says you have to? Growing older doesn't mean giving up on energy, happiness, or longevity. In fact, research shows that some of the longest living people in the world, from places like Okinawa, Japan, and Sardinia, Italy, don't just live longer, they live better. They stay active, engaged, and full of life well into their 80s, 90s, and even beyond. And the best part? It's not because of some miracle cure or expensive treatments. It all comes down to a few simple habits, things you can start doing today to add years to your life and life to your years. So, if you're ready to wake up every morning feeling energized, sharp, and truly alive, let's talk about 5 powerful daily habits that can help you live 10 years longer. And no, I'm not talking about extreme diets or running marathons. These are small, practical things you can fit into your routine without turning your life upside down. Let's start with one of the simplest but most overlooked secrets to longevity, movement. Now, before you think I'm about to tell you to hit the gym or lift heavy weights, hear me out. Movement isn't just about exercise, it's about staying active in a way that feels natural. Think about it, our ancestors never worked out in the way we do today. They didn't have treadmills or dumbbells. Instead, they walked, they gardened, they carried things, they danced. They moved their bodies in ways that fit their daily lives. And that's exactly what you should be doing. Studies have shown that just 30 minutes of gentle movement a day can significantly reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. But here's the key, it doesn't have to feel like a chore. Find ways to move that you actually enjoy. Maybe it's taking a morning walk with a friend, playing with your grandkids, or even just stretching while watching TV. The goal is to keep your body in motion, because once you stop moving, your body starts to shut down faster than you realize. Now, here's something fascinating. Some of the longest living people on Earth don't sit for long periods of time. They don't spend hours in front of a screen or slumped in a chair. Instead, they get up frequently, even if it's just to stretch or do a small task. So if you find yourself sitting too much, make it a habit to stand up and move every 30 minutes. Even small movements, like walking around the house or stretching, can make a difference. And speaking of movement, let's talk about something that's just as important, what you put into your body. Because no matter how much you move, if your diet isn't supporting your health, you're not going to get the full benefits. Now, let's talk about food, because what you eat plays a huge role in how long and how well you live. But before you start thinking this means you have to cut out everything you love, let me reassure you, eating for longevity isn't about extreme dieting or giving up your favorite meals. It's about making small, sustainable changes that fuel your body, keep your mind sharp, and protect you from disease. Look at the blue zones, places in the world where people routinely live past 90 or even 100 years old. These regions, like Okinawa in Japan or Ikaria in Greece, all have one thing in common. Their diets are mostly plant-based, rich in whole foods, and low in processed junk. Now, that doesn't mean you have to give up meat entirely, but it does mean that fresh, natural foods should take center stage on your plate. Think about it, our grandparents didn't grow up eating fast food or drinking sugary sodas every day. They ate real food, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, beans, and healthy fats like olive oil. And they lived longer, healthier lives because of it. One of the best things you can do for your body is to add more of these longevity-boosting foods into your daily meals. Start with something simple, add a handful of nuts to your diet. Studies have shown that eating nuts regularly can reduce the risk of heart disease and even help you live longer. And don't forget about fiber. Foods like beans, lentils, and whole grains keep your digestion running smoothly and help prevent diseases like diabetes and colon cancer. And here's something interesting, many of the longest living people in the world drink herbal teas instead of sugary drinks. In Okinawa, people sip on green tea throughout the day, which is packed with antioxidants that fight aging. In Ikaria, Greece, they drink herbal teas made from rosemary, sage, and mint, plants known to boost brain function and heart health. So the next time you're reaching for a soda or a sugary coffee, try switching it out for a soothing cup of tea instead. Your body will thank you. But food isn't just about nutrition, it's also about connection. In many long-living cultures, meals are shared with family and friends, and that brings us to another crucial habit for living longer: staying socially connected. Loneliness is one of the biggest threats to your health as you get older. In fact, studies have found that chronic loneliness can be just as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's because when you feel isolated, your body goes into a state of stress, increasing inflammation and weakening your immune system. So, if you want to add years to your life, make an effort to stay socially engaged. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. You don't need a huge social circle or an endless calendar of events. Just a few meaningful connections can make all the difference. Call an old friend, join a community group, or even chat with your neighbors. If you have family nearby, make it a habit to see them regularly, even if it's just for a short visit. And here's a fun fact: in Sardinia, Italy, one of the world's longest living communities, elderly people aren't pushed aside or forgotten. Instead, they are valued, respected, and surrounded by loved ones. That sense of purpose and belonging keeps them mentally and emotionally strong well into old age. So, take a moment to think: who in your life brings you joy? Who makes you laugh? Make time for those people, because those connections aren't just good for your heart, they're good for your health and longevity. And speaking of staying sharp, let's talk about something that might surprise you. Keeping your brain active is just as important as keeping your body active. Keeping your brain active is just as important as keeping your body in motion. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens over time. But if you challenge it, stretch it, and give it new experiences, it stays sharp and resilient, even as you age. Have you ever noticed how some people in their 80s and 90s still have incredible memories and quick thinking? It's not just luck, it's the result of a lifetime of mental engagement. Studies show that people who continuously learn new things, solve problems, or engage in mentally stimulating activities have a lower risk of dementia and cognitive decline. So, what can you do to keep your brain in top shape? The good news is, it doesn't mean solving complicated math problems or memorizing textbooks. Simple daily habits can make a huge difference. Reading is one of the best exercises for your brain. Whether it's a novel, a newspaper, or even learning about a new topic online, reading forces your brain to process information, make connections, and expand its thinking. If you're not a big reader, try audiobooks or podcasts. They can be just as stimulating. Another powerful brain booster? Learning something new. Maybe you've always wanted to learn a new language, play a musical instrument, or try your hand at painting. It's never too late. In fact, the challenge of learning a new skill strengthens neural pathways in your brain, keeping it flexible and strong. Puzzles, crosswords, and strategy games like chess or Sudoku are also fantastic for keeping your mind sharp. But don't just stick to the same ones, mix it up. The key is to keep challenging yourself in different ways. And here's something interesting: socializing is actually one of the best brain workouts you can do. When you have a conversation, your brain has to listen, process information, and respond, all in real time. This kind of mental engagement is what keeps your cognitive skills sharp. That's why people who stay socially active tend to maintain better brain health as they age. But there's another secret to keeping your mind young, something that often gets overlooked: managing stress. Chronic stress is one of the most damaging things for your brain and body. It increases inflammation, weakens your immune system, and accelerates aging. Have you ever noticed how people who worry constantly seem to age faster? That's because stress literally wears down your cells. So, how do you reduce stress and keep your mind calm? It starts with simple, daily habits. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, or just sitting quietly with a cup of tea can do wonders for lowering stress levels. Spending time in nature is another powerful way to relax the mind. Taking a walk in a park, listening to birds, or even tending to a small garden can have an incredible calming effect. And then there's gratitude. Research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude, taking time each day to appreciate the good things in their lives, tend to live longer, healthier, and happier lives. It shifts your focus away from stress and negativity, and instead, trains your brain to recognize joy. Even something as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for each night before bed can make a huge difference in your overall well-being. And speaking of nighttime, let's talk about one of the most overlooked but essential habits for longevity: getting quality sleep. Sleep is one of the most powerful tools for staying healthy and living longer, yet it's something so many people struggle with as they get older. Maybe you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, tossing and turning, or feeling groggy even after a full night in bed. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's the good news: improving your sleep doesn't have to be complicated. Small changes can have a big impact. First, let's talk about why sleep is so important, especially after 60. While you rest, your body goes into repair mode. Your brain clears out toxins that build up during the day, your muscles recover, and your immune system strengthens. Poor sleep, on the other hand, has been linked to a higher risk of heart disease, memory problems, and even a shorter lifespan. It's not just about how many hours you sleep, but how well you sleep. One of the biggest culprits of poor sleep is irregular bedtime habits. If you go to bed and wake up at different times every day, your body never gets into a steady rhythm. The fix? Set a consistent bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. Your body thrives on routine, and after just a week or 2, you'll start to notice better sleep quality. Another common mistake? Too much screen time before bed. The blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. Instead of scrolling through your phone, try reading a book, listening to calming music, or doing some light stretching before bed. Speaking of bedtime routines, what you eat and drink in the evening plays a huge role in your sleep quality. Heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol too close to bedtime can disrupt your sleep cycle. If you often wake up feeling restless, take a look at what you're consuming in the hours leading up to bed. And here's something many people don't realize: your sleep environment matters more than you think. A cluttered, noisy, or overly warm bedroom can prevent deep, restful sleep. Make your bedroom a relaxing space. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. Investing in a comfortable mattress and pillows can also make a world of difference. But perhaps the most overlooked factor in sleep quality is your mindset. If you go to bed feeling anxious or stressed, your mind won't fully relax. That's why winding down before bed is so important. A simple relaxation routine, like deep breathing, gentle stretching, or even writing down your thoughts in a journal, can signal to your body that it's time to rest. When you start prioritizing sleep, you'll notice the benefits almost immediately. More energy, clearer thinking, a stronger immune system, and even a better mood. Sleep isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for longevity. Now, while getting a good night's sleep is crucial, what you do during the day also plays a huge role in how long and well you live. One habit, in particular, has been linked to longer lifespans across the world. It's something simple, yet incredibly powerful. One of the most powerful habits for living longer is staying socially connected. It's easy to underestimate just how much relationships affect our health, but studies have shown that people with strong social ties tend to live longer, happier lives. In fact, loneliness has been linked to higher risks of heart disease, depression, and even dementia. Think about the last time you had a great conversation with a friend or shared a laugh with family. It feels good, doesn't it? That's because human connection releases feel-good chemicals in the brain, like oxytocin and dopamine, that reduce stress and improve overall well-being. But as we get older, staying connected isn't always easy. Friends move away, family members get busy, and it's tempting to withdraw. The key is to be intentional about socializing. Call an old friend just to catch up. Join a local group or club that shares your interests. Even something as simple as chatting with a neighbor or smiling at a stranger can make a difference. If you're not sure where to start, look for senior community centers, hobby groups, or volunteer opportunities. Giving back to others not only strengthens relationships but also gives life a greater sense of purpose. And here's something interesting: strong social connections don't just come from people. Many studies have found that owning a pet can boost longevity. Whether it's a dog, cat, or even a bird, having a pet can lower stress, increase physical activity, and provide companionship. If you've ever had a pet greet you at the door after a long day, you know the joy they bring. But there's one more secret to staying happy and living longer that ties everything together: having a sense of purpose. People who wake up each day with something to look forward to tend to live not just longer, but better. Your purpose doesn't have to be anything grand. It could be learning a new skill, mentoring a younger person, gardening, or even just being there for family and friends. In places around the world where people live the longest, like Okinawa, Japan, or Sardinia, Italy, one thing they all have in common is a strong sense of purpose. They don't retire in the traditional sense. Instead, they keep contributing to their families and communities in meaningful ways. This gives them a reason to stay active, engaged, and optimistic about the future. And that's the real secret to longevity. It's not just about eating the right foods, exercising, or sleeping well. It's about finding joy in everyday life, staying connected, and having something that keeps you going. When you combine these habits, moving your body, eating well, getting good sleep, staying social, and having purpose, you create a lifestyle that supports not just a longer life, but a fulfilling one. At the end of the day, it's the small, daily choices that add up. Every time you choose to go for a walk, eat a healthy meal, reach out to a friend, or do something that makes you happy, you're investing in your future self. And no matter your age, it's never too late to start. So, what's one small change you can make today? Maybe it's calling a loved one, taking a walk outside, or trying a new healthy recipe. Whatever it is, remember that every step counts. Here's to living a long, happy, and meaningful life, starting today.